All right, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all honor, praise, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect scattered abroad. All right, this is Brother Barbazal here with a lesson, and Lord willing, it's edifying. All right, and this lesson will be entitled, "The Lord is about to show His power." All right, which we know that, of course, in these, in these end times, these end days, all right, the Lord is about to come back and destroy this kingdom and deliver His elect. All right, and ultimately, the Lord is going to just truly show, His power. All right, because in this this kingdom that we in, technocracy, right, with Esau's AI, artificial intelligence, his different technology. All right, his military power, military force. The fact that this man has been on top, right, for hundreds of years, right, putting the Israelites in captivity. All right, we need to be delivered by supernatural means. Okay, and that's the hope that we have. All right, so this is the book of Romans 9:17. It says, "For the scripture saith unto Pharaoh, even for this same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth." Right? So that's why the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart. All right, in order to show His power. All right, and He's doing the same thing with Esau. All right, Esau pretty much being the modern day Pharaoh, except this kingdom is a lot greater, right, than the kingdom of Egypt. So the deliverance has to be that much greater as well. All right, the Lord coming back with the chariots, the elect being beamed up, getting new bodies. All right, and you have to believe that the Lord is coming with this type of power as well. All right, that's the faith that we have. All right, that these scriptures, all right, and the spirit that was given unto us by Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai will be true. All right, this book of Matthew 24:30, right, going into the salvation when Yahushua come back. Verse 29, "Immediately after the tribulation of those days there shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory." The Son of Man going into Yahushua, the clouds of heaven going into the chariots. All right, and it says it's going to be with power and great glory, which that the chariots are the vehicles of salvation that the Lord is going to use to deliver the elect, and also complete the destruction of this place. All right, and that's what we look forward to. All right, and when you read verse 31, it says, "And He shall send His angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together His elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other." All right, so the Lord is going to have an elect, all right, throughout the four corners of the earth. All right, but the main deliverance, salvation, is going to be out of Babylon. All right, escaping the thermonuclear fire. All right, now let's get that. It's the book of Revelation 15:2. It says, "And I saw," I'll start at 1, "And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of Yahweh. And I saw, as it were, a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of Yahweh." So, yeah, this is going into the victory over the beast, which that's what we look forward to, the victory. All right, not taking the sea hip, not bowing down to the image. Okay, And it says, stand on the sea of glass. That's going into the chariots. Looking down on the destruction of this place. And giving praise to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, right? The scriptures go into, those, in the chariots were frightened, right? Giving praise to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua because, just looking down at the destruction, that we were saved from, we're going to give all the glory to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, man. See? So this is the book of Revelation 6:4. And there went out another horse that was red. All right, and this is going into Esau. Horse going into power. And red is some that the Lord uses to describe the Edomites, right? Edom, the word Edom specifically means red. All right, so we know this is talking about Esau. All right, it says, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. All right, so there you go. Power was given unto him to take peace from the earth. That's why he was given, this power. All right, to be the wicked, to take peace from the earth. All right, and it says, and they that should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. And we know that the blessing of Esau is the sword when you get that in Genesis the 27th chapter. All right, this man straight up rules by the sword, man. All right, that was his blessing. All right, and that great sword, turned into the, is what led to the kingdom, the wicked kingdom that we're currently living in today. You see? So now it's going to come to a point where, this man is going to go too far with his rulership, and he won't be able to get, as far as he wants to. All right. Scriptures go into, how the Lord is going to rain down on him, while he's eating, right? Roughly paraphrasing in the book of Job, right? While he's about to fill his belly, right? So that's how the Lord is coming, man. All right. And while this man has power, right? The Lord has all the power. The Lord gave him his power. You see? And the Lord is our power. That's the power that we worship. That we're servants of. All right. That's why we're not that's why we're not, afraid of what Esau can do to us. All right, because we know that the Lord is protecting us, with the angels, Yahweh Shai. Okay. This is the book of John 9:1. And this is going into, just the instance where, the Lord was showing his power. Now, this is on a smaller scale. All right. But however, the Lord, had still used this instance to show his power, which he did, of course, in the deliverance of Egypt. And now he's going to do it with the even greater deliverance, all right, of this kingdom, Babylon the Great. All right, John 9:1, and as Yahushua passed by, he saw a man which was blind from his birth. And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Yahushua answered, neither had this man sinned nor his parents, but that the works of Yahweh should be made manifest in him. So there you go. That man was made blind for that specific moment, for the Lord to show his power. All right. That's also one of the reasons, that the Lord has allowed this man to get so far in his rulership, right? Esau to get so far in his rulership in order to show his power. You got a lot of people who don't believe. You got a lot of people who still has faith in this society. All right. That's going to give in to the image of the beast, worship the image of the beast. All right. Fully give in to this beast system. All right. They're not going to get the victory over the beast, such as the elect. All right. It's only going to be a remnant. And of that remnant, it's only going to be of Israelites. All right. So this would be the last precept. This is Isaiah 14:12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? All right, so this isn't going into a battle, right, in the kingdom of heaven or anything like that. This is going into Esau, Lucifer being who, right? The enlightened ones, right? Those who's in the elite, right? The top rulership, all right, of this kingdom. All right. When it says thou art fallen from heaven, that's going into his position. All right, a lofty position. All right, and he's going to be brought down. All right, and verse 13 says, for thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of Yahweh. I will sit also upon the mount of congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. All right. And that's what this man is trying to do. All right. And you can see that, this man he's about to have, a lot of people see him. All right. He's got his surveillance, right? Satellites, right? Technology. He's able to track you. All right. Wherever you go through your phone. All right. And this man wants to take it a step further. All right. However, the only way this man is going to be stopped is through the power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. All right. So that just goes to show you that, how great that deliverance is going to be. All right. Because it's going to be a power that ultimately takes this place down without even, without really breaking a sweat, man. It's not going to be a struggle for the power. It's not going to be, it's going to be a complete one-sided, a destruction of this place, man. And Esau, he going to try to fight back, right? When you get into the book of 2nd Esdras 13, right? It goes into the the battle of heaven, which is going into the nations going against Yahushua and the angels, right? That's what it's going into. All right, but it's going to be a complete one-sided destruction, man. And ain't gonna be nothing they can do, because this is the greatest power of all, man. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. All right, but that'll do it with the lesson. All right, Lord, one that was edifying. So with that, I'd like to give all the honor, the praise, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Ba'Shem Ruach HaKodesh. So